Hi, my name is Linda. This is what happened to me. In the 1960s, my family and I experienced terrifying events in our Indianapolis home. One night, a beer mug moved on its own, hiding behind a plant pot. Later, a crystal ornament flew off the shelf and shattered. We fled to a hotel, but upon returning, dishes and glasses smashed themselves, and a cup flew through the air, nearly hitting my grandmother. Police and paranormal experts couldn't explain it. We were left with scratches and bruises. Was it a haunting or something else? Now listen closely. Here's what people say about my story. I'll tell you everything. The terrifying true story of the Indianapolis Poltergeist, Linda Beck's experience. In the 1960s, the Beck family experienced one of the most chilling and unexplained hauntings in the United States. This haunting, known as the Indianapolis Poltergeist, terrified the family, leaving them with unanswered questions and scars, both physical and emotional. The eerie events that unfolded in their home have become some of the most well-documented supernatural occurrences, sparking debate and fascination about poltergeists and paranormal activity. The first signs. It all began with what seemed like small, unexplainable events. At first, the Beck family dismissed them as odd coincidences, flickering lights, doors creaking open by themselves, and random sounds. However, things quickly escalated. The family began to notice that objects would move on their own. Dishes, cups, and glasses would shift on tables and shelves without any apparent cause. The family members began to feel uneasy, but it wasn't until the more intense occurrences started that they realized something much darker was at play. The poltergeist's escalation. The situation took a terrifying turn one night when a beer mug seemingly moved by itself, hiding behind a plant pot in the living room. Shortly after, a crystal ornament flew off the shelf and shattered on the floor, leaving the family in shock and disbelief. But these incidents weren't just minor disturbances, they were violent. On one occasion, a glass cup flew across the room, narrowly missing the grandmother of the family. The movement of objects grew more aggressive, and the Beck family was terrified, especially when they noticed scratches and bruises on their own bodies. These physical injuries were unexplained. None of them could recall how or when they had gotten hurt. The police and paranormal investigation. In desperation, the Beck family called the police. Officers who arrived at the scene were also unable to explain what was happening. As strange phenomena continued to occur, from furniture being moved to objects flying through the air, the family was left feeling hopeless and scared. Eventually, paranormal investigators stepped in, confirming that something otherworldly was at work. Despite several investigations by experts in the supernatural, there was no definitive explanation for the poltergeist activity. No one could explain how or why these things were happening, and the investigators could not stop the occurrences from continuing. Physical damage and the family's trauma. What made this case even more disturbing was the physical toll it took on the Beck family. Bruises, scratches, and unexplained injuries became a common part of their daily life. Linda Beck, who was a teenager at the time, recalled how objects seemed to fly at her and her family members, causing visible wounds that couldn't be attributed to anything else. At one point, the family members were so afraid that they fled the house temporarily. However, upon returning, the haunting resumed with even greater intensity. The once quiet and peaceful home had turned into a site of terror and despair. The final exit. After months of terrifying events, the Beck family eventually left their home in Indianapolis. Though the paranormal activity stopped after they moved, the events left a lasting impact on their lives. Linda and her family still struggle to explain the inexplicable and have been left with haunting memories of the strange forces that seemingly tormented them. While some skeptics argue that the events could have been a hoax or a result of stress, the sheer intensity of the experiences leads many to believe that something supernatural was at play. Was it real? Was the Indianapolis Poltergeist real? Or was it just a series of strange coincidences? Was the family's fear justified? Or did their minds create the horrifying events they experienced? No matter the explanation, the story of the Beck family is one of the most chilling and mysterious cases of poltergeist activity in history. They say my story is just a legend. But what do you think? Could it really be true? Let me know in the comments.